Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today we have got a leaked benchmark for the GTX 1060 and some photos courtesy of Chip Hell. I'm also going to be comparing this benchmark up against my own benchmark from the RX 480, which I also reviewed recently on the channel, and if you missed that video, I'm going to link to it right here. So first, starting off over on videocards.com, they have some photos courtesy of Chip Hell of the GTX 1060 in all of its glory and some nice HD photos. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm a big fan of the reference or founder style cards, even though they are insanely overpriced. It still remains to be seen if they're going to do that with the 1060 this time around, but it's nice to get some good HD photos of the GTX 1060 to show off here to you guys, and they're going to be over on videocards.com if you do want to check them out. But really the big story today is the leaked Firestrike benchmark, which was posted from XFastest and over here on WCCFtech.com, where they've showed the Firestrike normal and ultra benchmark, as well as the full specifications of the GTX 1060 in GPU-Z, which we can see side by side here if we're looking at the 1060, 1070, and 1080. So we can see it is running on GP106, which is different from GP104 in the 1070 and the 1080 graphics card. We can also see here it's got 1,208 CUDA cores, so it's obviously the perfect GPU for 720p gaming. JK. Also, we can see the base and boost clock here of 1506 and 1708 megahertz, which if you remember, we had reported a 1.7 gigahertz boost clock, so this does seem to be lining up with that at 1708. And it's also saying here 6 gigabytes of video memory. We see no 3 gigabyte option listed at this time, and also a 192-bit memory bus, and that's all running at 120 watt TDP on a single 6-pin power connector. So looking at the score on Firestrike, the number we really want to be concerned with here is the graphics score. And we can see that the GTX 1060 at stock speeds was able to score 13,215. Now, how does that compare to the AMD RX 480? Well, I could tell you that it comes really close to an overclocked RX 480, or at least the one that I have tested, but it does beat it at stock speed. So my overclocked RX 480 scored 13,387, and that's at its max overclock of 1350 megahertz. So that would just edge out the 1060 at stock speed. So we could assume that it is, if it's overclocked the 1060, it's probably going to beat the overclocked 480 by just a bit. Usually I expect to see about a 15% increase in my overclocks, typically if I'm able to get a half-decent overclock. So if we were to throw on an additional 15% to that score right there, we could expect to see around 15,000 maybe GPU score, which would definitely put it about 13% faster than the RX 480 when it is overclocked. Now, the RX 480, when it is running at stock speeds, when I tested it, it scored a 11,516, so that would put it at 15% slower than the GTX 1060 at stock. Now, this is on a DirectX 11 benchmark, so it still does remain to be seen how it's going to perform in DX12, because we know that these AMD cards can usually do DX12 stuff better because they actually have hardware-level async compute while Nvidia is handling in the drivers, and that's going to be one of the biggest things going forward for games in the future. But it looks like right now, just on core performance, that the GTX 1060 is probably going to be edging out the 480, especially when you do consider it to be overclocked. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now, guys. I'm glad I was able to bring you these numbers here today, and hopefully we get some more information on when the 1060 will actually be hitting store shelves. I still plan to go out and pick one of these guys up day one if they are available at Micro Center, so I can do my own testing versus the RX 480 and run it through a whole gamut of games for you guys, just like we did on the 480 review. So let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time. Ta-ra. And leave a like, because I like you too. That was gay.